Anyway, good morning. It is Monday, February 18th, 2019. You're listening to Radio Free Radford.com. Of course, if you just got on the web and you're like, what is he talking about on there? Just ignore what I just said. I was pretty much trying to get something that didn't correlate right. Alrighty, folks, while you're at it, if this is your first time listening on, I appreciate you listening on. We all do here at Radio Free Radford. Go ahead and hit us up on Facebook. Like us while you're at it. You can also follow us there, too. We appreciate anything support you do provide. Follow us on Twitter at Radio Free Raddy and on Instagram at Radio Free Radford. You can get all the latest information to Radford University's hit music radio station here on RadioFreeRadford.com. And appreciate you listening on and tuning in to this morning. Switching gears over now to the weather forecast. It is a little bit of a cool start this morning, actually. Woke up in the mid to low 30s out there, 40s, I should say. And we're going to be pretty much staying where we are about this point in time, not warming up much anymore, about 44, 45 degrees. So it looks like the rain has left the area and some sunshine's out there. And, of course, if you followed RU Weather 1, you would be able to see that beautiful sunrise that was posted on there this morning, about 7:50-ish or so. About 10 to 8 it was as I was on the way to class, getting things going. It's a wonderful 8 a.m. Of course, had a wonderful night's rest, so I was able to get some sleep in finally and over the weekend for sure. Temperature's getting out about 25 degrees tonight. By the way, I want to let you know there's a winter storm watch that has been issued by the National Weather Service, and we're going to be possibly seeing some accumulating snowfall, rains, freezing rain, sleet, ice. We got the whole bag coming our way towards tomorrow night, Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Of course, I already have scheduled guests this week, so we're going to see how the weather cooperates with me. We'll see how this all makes go into play. We'll see what happens with that. And a lot of things are happening for sure. So if for some odd reason, if we get under a little bit of weather and they're unable to make it in, and the decisions made by the university, whether it will be open or not, we'll see what happens. Of course, that's not my final call, so I don't predict that decision. That is all the way up above the students' advising. So we're talking about the president and the emergency management committee makes that decision here on campus. So anyway, winter storm watch until 6 p.m. Wednesday evening, possibly between 2 to 4 inches of snow, freezing rain, sleet, and ice. And possibly rain is going to be the flooding concern, likely Wednesday night into Thursday time frame, and even lingering into Friday. So again, once we get this out of here, we're going to be after just a slick commute, a dangerous commute. Wednesday morning, as temperatures are going to be in the upper 20s to low 30s. It is going to be a interesting drive in to see how this operates, especially with this time of year now. It's told you last week or a couple of weeks ago that winter was not over, and I think that 70 degree kind of fooled you for a little bit, and saying, all right, spring's here. No, it's not. Let's get back into reality and say, oh yeah, winter is still here, by the way. So anyway, moving on now to your quote of the day, and let's see if I can pull it up here. Quote of the day. All right, here we go. Pull it up, and today is President's Day, by the way, so we are basically honoring Abraham Lincoln's birthday, as it was last week, and now and Friday is Washington's birthday, so we got Washington's birthday, Lincoln's birthday, and obviously today, President's Day. And so in today's quote, President's Day, there's actually two of them. We get to, actually, that's not right. That's an error on the website. Today's quote of the day is by Dave Chappelle, and saying that the hardest thing to do is to be true to yourself, especially when everybody's watching. Well, that's kind of true, because especially as a journalist here, whatever you do follows you everywhere you go. And especially something that you look up to, and people that look out at you, you're always saying, hey, you're that guy that did this, or you're the person that did XYZ with W. You know what I'm trying to get to, metamorphically speaking. Kind of be careful how you do it. Represent yourself in a positive way no matter what you're doing and how you are getting through it as well. Alrighty, our national day of the day, of course, it is President's Day. We'll kind of decipher what President's Day is all about. I'll pull that up in our calendar here, and we'll get things. Let's see if I can roll it here. That was Friday's day. Okay, hold on. We'll get to you. Hold on. Sorry about that. A little bit of delay in session here on the website. Kind of shut down on me. Don't you love technology? I tell you, it's the greatest thing sometimes. Other times, it's not the greatest thing, as people say. Alrighty, so President's Day, also known as Washington's birthday, even though it's officially later this week, so we're kind of celebrating in two holidays in one. So we got to say, for the holiday, which appears to be the simplest observance of all the president's birthday, it also does but it sure does get complicated. For example, some states call it President's Day, nothing singular, possessive, apostrophe, or Washington and Lincoln Day. So English grammar gets into play with that. Regardless of whatever it is, it's a chance to honor American leaders who hold the highest official office in land. And obviously, this president, Donald Trump, there are very mixed emotions about him, whether if he's a good president or a bad president. And I'm not getting into politics today. I kind of think I got on a rant about that last week or so. And I want to keep my political views on the independent side and not tell you if he's good or bad. Anyway, so we got to go back to 1732 when our first president, our founding father, the first founding fathers, George Washington, was born in February 22nd, and so that's why Friday is the 22nd. He was born in Westmoreland County in Virginia, outside of a wealthy family. Later on that year, the Declaration of Independence, several years from that year, in 1776, July 4th, as we all know, the Declaration of Independence was declared, and it was the second constitutional Congress convened in Philadelphia adopting the Declaration of Independence. And later on, about 30 or so years from that point, Abraham Lincoln was born. Of course, was the 16th president on the penny and the $5 bill. Of course, his face is not on Mount Rushmore, I don't believe. No, it is not. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. It is on Mount Rushmore. And we'll talk about those other presidents on there along with Washington. He's the president associated with the holiday, was born in a log cabin in Hodgenville, Kentucky. Later on in 1879, Congress then created this federal holiday. With the federal holiday being implemented, it expanded the designation to be a nationwide in 1885, so about 6 years after that. And in 1971, about 40 or so years ago, it's not only Washington's birthday, but it is now the federal holiday to the third Monday in February as part of the Uniform Monday Holiday Act, which takes effect on this date. And so obviously we have Franklin, or one of the Roosevelts, on the Mount Rushmore, and Thomas Jefferson, of course, our four founding fathers on those Mount Rushmore, and South Dakota, I think it is, and great place. I have not had a chance to visit it, so if you do that, you can go ahead and take a visit right there. It's also National Battery Day. We can't go without, National Battery Day is today. Obviously, with your car, you need to get that updated. I know a lot of people have recently, especially with the cold weather that we've been seeing, kind of interferes with the car battery in your car. And if the temperature kind of gets to a certain point, and the motor inside of that kind of messes it up, so you kind of got to check your battery on that. And it's also National Crab Stuffed Flounder Day. I'm very active. I love seafood. And flounder, salmon, popcorn shrimp, catfish, whatever it is, I like it. Hush puppies is at the top of that list. So today, along with President's Day, go out maybe get you a bite to dinner. And, of course, the weather's going to be looking all right with that. With some crab stuffed flounder as a dish composed of stuffing made with crab meat, breadcrumbs, butter, and seasoning, which is stuffed into the whole flounder or rolled up into a fillet and baked. Popular along the East and Gulf Coast, there are a variety of restaurants that serve crab cake flounder, and there are plenty of recipes at hand you can try at home, such as the crab meat stuffed flounder, radul, and then the crab meat stuffed flounder. And so you can take a look at that and get you some seafood out there. So there you go. Moving on now to your word of the day by Webster's Dictionary. I appreciate them providing a word of the day. It's very interesting to see, and your grammar out there kind of expands on with that. So today's word of the day is prejudice. As a lot of people know, that is a very controversial word in some sense that people use it out of context. The definition is of relating to or marked by illusion or conjuring or trickery and or having an an illustrious name or reputation esteemed by general opinion. Word of the day, prejudice. Leave it as that. I'm not going into detail with that much more. Let's see what we got going here. Obviously, some of the events maybe. If you had a chance to go see Wreck-It Ralph Breaks the Internet at the R Space this weekend, it was a good movie. I've not seen it, but I've heard great things about it. So our movies of the week, obviously weather is going to be the main factor. We'll see. It is A Star is Born with Lady Gaga. That's not taking place this week. It's actually next weekend. Or I should say, not on that. It's actually a little bit of a break. So the schedule, it's kind of weird here recently. I've noticed that now. Not every single week a movie is being put on. So it's every other week, it looks like. So March 1st to the March 3rd, so that's the week before we get out for spring break, they'll be doing That Star Born with Lady Gaga in it. Fun fact, that is not her real name. It's I can't remember exactly what it is, so maybe you can Google that and maybe I'll pop it up. So later in March, after we come back from spring break, I think so, we'll have Mary Poppins playing, and then again we got some Marvel movies coming up, and the last movie is towards the end is a Lego movie in the middle of April, and then the last following that weekend will be the upside of the movies for sure. So there you go. Let's see what else we got trending here. Obviously, the class of 2019, time is ticking down. It's time for you to get your ceremony, cap and gown, and obviously the ring ceremony. I think it took place a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last semester, I should say. So you have until the 31st of March. It's the multicultural congratulatorial ceremony. It's going to be May 10th at 7 p.m. in the Bondurant Auditorium. You have to get like a deadline certificate, and you have until the end of March to do that. So go ahead and get started on that. And some auditions for some musical for a West African drum and dance. The deadline is the auditions were last week, Friday, and they are continuing again to tomorrow at 6:30 in Covington, 221, and then again Friday, we'll see how weather works out, the Fitness Center in room M109. Try and attend it for all 3 days, and the final day will be your judge day. So maybe you have some musical talent, whatever it may be, and best of luck to you if you do get involved with that. Also, something this Friday is the Education Career Fair. This is open to all majors and degrees. Of course, it's not just a certificate candidates. So if you have an interest in K-12 positions, teaching, counseling, speech and language pathology or SLP or administration, head over to the rec center between 9 and 12. Interviews will be taking place at 1 to 5 there. And then again, depending on weather, we'll see what happens with all that. It's going to be the big story this week. Also coming up later on in April, it's the Children's Miracle Network Dance Marathon here at Radford. It's every third Monday. They meet today at Walter in room 200 from 4 to 6, and the dance marathon will be held on April the 6th from 12 to 6. A lot of sixes in there, it seems like, and a lot of people kind of convert those numbers into in another manner. Wow, let me get tongue-tied there for a minute. And so anyway, of course, tomorrow is the full snow moon, and of course, it's going to be cloudy, unfortunately, with this moisture moving in. Might be snowing all the time. This moon makes moonrise, so unfortunately, I don't see any big clearing taking place tomorrow afternoon. And like I said, we got this winter precipitation moving in this weekend, and we've got just all that involving and unfolding as I'm speaking to you. And more updates will be available at RUWeather1 on Twitter and Instagram. Follow those two pages, and likelihood of you'll be updated is a strong glance of that occurring. Alrighty, moving up now, we got our hosts coming up later today on Radio Free Radford. I didn't realize my mic wasn't even plugged in. So, alrighty. So now, I don't know what the audio is going to sound like on my phone, but that will be interesting to see how this turns out. I'm pretty sure my voice is kind of loud enough that it kind of picks up on it. Later here on the show today, we do have, actually, at 11 o'clock, Terrence Schofield, Catch-Up Show from 11 to 12. Of course, he is now the co-host with Tristan Blake Ryans on the Ryan's Report. You can check him out. Also, we do have, let's see, who else? I think it's Zach Pettit with Pettit Talk, and Pettit Puck Talk from 5 to 6 talks about all NHL hockey. And if you have interest in that, you can, check him out on Pet Puck Talk. And also, Allison Shiner's show will be taking place today, I think at 1:30 to 2 here on Radio Free Radford. As you remember, her and Jesse Taylor, who is our vice president of Radio Free Radford, has a show of collaboration, talks about Allison's show is more based of open topic. Jesse has her baseball show. So baseball season is very quickly approaching. So she'll probably be talking about the Red Sox and I don't know what other, the Yankees, whatever baseball team there is out there. I'm very low educated on baseball. Just letting you know that. And there's always Don Mattingly. Of course, he's one of the Yankees players. And very ironically, we have Mattingly's in our family, and we always kind of joke around and say, "Oh, you do Don Mattingly?" Yeah, he's kind of related. Jokingly, he's not. So that's kind of always fun to say to kind of trip the people up. It's interesting to see whether actually, really, you're related to Don Mattingly? No, not really, though. So anyway, moving things on, we'll conclude the show this morning. We'll hopefully get some guests on this week, depending on what the forecast holds true, or maybe not. We'll see. If not, we'll be posting that back to next week, and I'll be getting in line with them. Some more guests. We're going to get some fraternities on next week, hopefully, and maybe getting the chance of the Radford Fire Department and Police Department. I'm going to be working with them, see when they can come on and get a day on here for sure. Obviously, if you have an interest in that type of field, we thank you for your service and everything that you will do. EMS and fire is a very tricky field to get into. And so, again, hats off to all those men and women out there, as well as our folks across the country fighting for us. And we thank you for that, too. All righty, we hope you make it a wonderful Monday. And I'll be back with you tomorrow at 10 a.m. And continue to listen to great hits on RadioFreeRadford.com.